Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The New World. And in today's video, after the Milwaukee Bucks shocked many NBA fans as well as their franchise player by waiving NBA top 75 guard Damian Lilliard in order to make room for the newly acquired big man Myles Turner, it is time for us to discuss if the Bucks franchise can help Giannis win another ring for them, or will they just piss him off so much that he decides to truly take his talents elsewhere. But before we do that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and help us on the road to 10K subs. Hit that like button if you enjoy the content, and make sure to share this video as well. And comment if you think the Bucks can win another ring with the team they have left for Giannis so far. And if you haven't, check out our recent videos where we discuss the potential reign of thunder, no pun intended, that Oklahoma City will bring to the near future after winning their first ring under the SGA era. And check out our vid discussing how great this new Houston Rockets squad will be after acquiring future Hall of Famer Kevin Durant. Now fellas, did the waiving of Dame shock you? And do you think the moves that have been done so far can help Giannis get back to another finals?
Funny enough, I do think that I was definitely shocked by the Dame waiving. Now, the Milwaukee Bucks are not going to win a championship anytime soon, but I think that not having Damian Lillard, instead incorporating Myles Turner to this roster, they had to go ahead and let go of Brook Lopez. I think that may end up benefiting the team more than having a Damian Lillard who, for one, is not going to play next year, and two, I don't think he is that great of a player, and he's older. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. Y'all can talk about whatever y'all want. You can talk about the Giannis element of it. I really want to kind of talk about the Damian Lillard aspect, because I've been talking about Damian Lillard in these conversations for a little bit of over a year now at this point. And Damian Lillard basically just proved what I told guys. We made a video by Anthony Edwards a few months ago, and I basically said that not everybody can be a champion. I feel like we live in a society, in an NBA landscape where all people do is talk about rings, ring culture. And within that, Damian Lillard has become a victim of ring culture. He has hypocritical comments where he's like, oh, I don't really care. Like, winning a championship isn't everything. But we saw in his actions how much that really bothered him and how he really wanted to compete for a championship. We understand that, but Damian Lillard is not great enough. He's not an impactful player to be one of the best players on a championship winning team with his style of play, especially at this age. Damian Lillard is in his early 30s to mid 30s, and he's not going to get any better. He's always been a defensive liability. And what we saw over the course of the season with the Milwaukee Bucks was a lot of your turn, my turn. That's not an effective way to win championships. They couldn't even get out of the first round this year because they weren't good enough. So I think that retooling, we have to really discuss financial implications with franchises now that the second apron has become more prevalent and more prominent. So getting up off of Damian Lillard, even though they have to pay him for the next few seasons, but getting up off of that contract is going to work wonders for this team to rebuild the team if they want to continue to have Giannis out there. And I think that this team, especially with how dismantled the Eastern Conference is right now, can be relatively competitive. And I think that when you have a Giannis who's a top 3 player in the NBA, I think that building around him, not trying to just acquire some star-studded names, is a more conducive way to build a champion, especially in the East. Because we got to think about it. The Indiana Pacers went to the finals this past season. So if the Milwaukee Bucks have a competent organization, they can do similar things. Now it's going to take them a little bit longer because they went all in on guys like Dame, guys like Brook Lopez, guys like Drew Holiday in the past. They went in on those guys and they've lost all of those guys. So they have to rebuild that team and retutilize it. But I think that with the Giannis is probably one of the only star players left in this league that would stick it out and give a team, a franchise, the opportunity to show, because they have done everything that Giannis has asked for. So the other thing that we're going to get into is this Giannis leaving situation. I'm kind of getting tired of it, bro, because it's just the media projecting what they want to happen instead of just looking at this person, looking at his career and saying all of the situations that have happened. There's been some positives, there's been some negatives, but what we cannot say is that Milwaukee Bucks have not tried to accommodate what Giannis, his talent, and what he has asked for. They went out there and got a Dame when Giannis trade talks were in the works a few seasons ago. You feel what I'm saying? So they've done what he's asked for them to do. Now, if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm like, look, Giannis, do you want to stay here? If you want to stay here, let us do our damn jobs, and we're going to try to build a championship roster that is suitable for your talents and for what you do well. And I think that if Giannis is a man of his word, which I believe that he would be, if he tells that team, I want to be here, I want to be here for the rest of my career, they will do right by him and do their damnness to build a champion for him. And I feel like as a star player, that's all you can ask for, not jumping ship and shacking up with another team, with another star player, with a top-heavy roster, and then they have to basically mortgage all of their assets to get you on the team unless you go over there in free agency. The NBA has gotten a lot smarter. I think that's one of the things that Adam Silver and the association has done a good job of, is eradicating all of these stacked-ass teams. They saw what happened with Golden State, which I'm not going to lie, we just want to keep it objective. The dynasty was good for ratings, but then everybody started trying to replicate that. And it ended up being not a very good alternative. You feel what I'm saying? So we've seen a lot of that, and they haven't worked. Like since Golden State, when players are going to shack up on other teams, how often does that lead to them hosting up to Larry O'Brien? Doesn't really. So I think that this is the best way for them, because if you think about the Milwaukee Bucks, if you let Giannis go, you're not getting back the same value. You're not. It'd be different if he was in his mid-30s, but Giannis is 30. He's still one of the best players in the league. You're not getting anything better than him. So develop a plan, showcase your competence as an organization, and say, like, look, Giannis, this is the plan that we have to get back to the finals, because it can be done in the Eastern Conference. If we were in the West, it'd be a different story, but it can be done in the East. I think if they show that plan to Giannis, then they could, really be competitive, because your only competition right now, as things are currently constructed, are the New York Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are pretty precocious. Orlando is on the rise. But those are teams that if the Milwaukee Bucks can really, really build a sound team around Giannis, they could compete, because Giannis is better than all of those niggas. If we're just looking at a breakdown of the best players in the Eastern Conference, he is the best player in the Eastern Conference. It's not a debate. So with that said, that's kind of my take on it. Damian Lillard, I don't really care what he does from here. Take your ass back to Portland or some shit. You're not winning a championship, sir. You're not good enough.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tackle this from a different angle. I'm not gonna lie, Giannis just backdoor Dame, and I think we should really kind of look Giannis in a different light. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've been on this shit before a lot of niggas. I was like, Giannis seems like the type of nigga to backdoor you.
He's already what is giving you the thought that he could do something like that? What is giving you that
nice, bro? He's too nice on social media. It's like you see this guy and he's out here.
So niggas can't do nothing right. Niggas are being nice and then they.
It's a red flag. Nah, it's a red flag, bro. Because I be seeing this guy. It's cool the content he does, like with his wife. He's in the bed. Talking about putting another kid in her. All that's cool. But what he does on social media and like what he does, trying to prop up this good image, like hey, I was really trying to keep this guy, and report just came out. Now I don't know if it's true, or like I'm just saying this is alleged. But a report came out that Giannis knew about the Bucks potentially getting Myles Turner, and Dame replied on that with the whole give to everybody as seen on Twitter. So I think we should just Giannis like he's always been this guy. Like in my opinion, Chris Middleton's he ran Chris Middleton pretty much out of town. Like, for Kyle Kuzma, Kyle Kuzma was
Chris Middleton was ass. He was getting hurt all the time.
He's better than Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is he has only been a solid to good player on a really bad team. Anybody that puts up good let me get this out. Anybody that puts up good numbers in Washington for the Washington DC Wizards is not a good player. That should not be on the contended team. And the Bucks clearly have contending status. Like they clearly want to contend.
What the hell has Chris Middleton done since the 2021 NBA Finals run? He hadn't done shit.
It doesn't matter. He's backdoor.
He's been bad.
He was injured in 2022. So, and then the next year,
another reason to come up off of him. We can't depend on the man's health either.
No. See, I don't know if you know what happened. Next year, Giannis Antetokounmpo injures himself in the first round. They're the number one seed. They're facing off against the AT and the Miami Heat in 2023. And they lose the series in 5 games. So it's like Chris Middleton, he was basically the man. So it's like, okay, Chris Middleton was basically the man last year. And then, or 2 years ago, last year, everybody got injured. It was like, like everybody got. So it's like Giannis Antetokounmpo, you can't look at him and be like, oh well, Chris Middleton, you're not available. Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't available either. Like, how many playoff series has he been available? It's like his last 2 playoff series. Like, he's barely played games. So I had to look at that and I was like, Giannis Antetokounmpo definitely seems like to me, definitely seems like type person to backdoor a teammate, and I think that's what he did. So that's my main point. I just want Giannis to get out of this whole nice guy facade. I think it's a facade. I think Giannis is kind of a nice guy, but if you're a great player, like, you're gonna have demands that your team caters to. Giannis Antetokounmpo clearly is a top 3 NBA talent in the league right now. Top 3, bare minimum. People gonna put guys like Luka Doncic. Like, no, Luka Doncic is not there. So Giannis is a top 3 talent in the league. I think he's actually the 3rd best player in the league. I think that's universal. I don't think it's crazy to say that. So of course the Milwaukee Bucks, and he brought them a championship a couple years ago. So of course they're gonna look like, oh well, man, we need to carry this guy's demands. So when he gets a guy like Damian Lilliard off the team, which he did, like let's do not sugarcoat this. He got him off the team.
I agree with that. But once again, I'm not mad at that. I'm really not mad at that because Damian Lillard is not going to do shit. Damian Lillard, right? One more thing.
Do I even need to mention the coaches? Like, do I even need to mention that? Like, I feel like that's a whole segment that I could go on to. So it's like Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's kind of fake to me. He's a fake nice guy. Like, this guy got two coaches fired? I think I'm lowballing that too. Like, 2 coaches fired. I think somebody said he had 3 coaches fired. So it's like he's getting guys fired. They currently employ Doc Rivers, who we all know is not a really good coach. So that's that. But the Milwaukee Bucks, their situation is fucked. Like, Myles Turner, I would have signed to a different team than Milwaukee, honestly. But I don't know the offer deals he was getting. Milwaukee seems like, to me, they're in quicksand. It's like, they can't do, like, what are they gonna do besides peak at like a 4 or 5 seed in the playoffs, be like a 1st or 2nd round exit at best? And that's pretty much how they go. Like, I don't really like that situation because I don't think next year they're gonna be a really good seed. Like everybody's talking about the East not being really good. I don't really see the Bucks being over a 6th seed, honestly. Like, if I'm gonna keep it a buck, I don't know if I can see them being a 6th seed. Like, with the way the Pistons have been playing, still got the Knicks up there with their head coach and new head coach and Mike Brown. You still got like other teams in there in the mix. I'm forgetting some right now, but you still have some teams in the mix. So their chances don't look bright, and they got rid of their young talent like last year. Like the kid they drafted, the AJ Johnson. Like, I think he was one of Jalen Green's boys. Because I remember seeing him like years ago in like a Jalen Green post. And I was a kid, and I watched his highlights, and I was like, oh, he's kind of tough. They got rid of him in the Kyle Kuzma deal, so I don't really know what they're doing front office wise. Like, it definitely seems like they have no clue what they're doing. Like, it's just Giannis or bust, and I don't think that's a good winning formula. Like, if you're gonna be a team in the NBA, you're already not a highly marketed team. You're not making a lot of revenue. You're not attracting free agents. You like they're Milwaukee out of all. Like, what the fuck is there in Milwaukee? And that's another standpoint that I will agree on you, Mal, about getting rid of Dame. Dame clearly didn't want to be in Milwaukee. Clearly did not want to be in Milwaukee. And with the place he's at now, like, when you see all these guys on social media, like the Chris Pauls and the LeBron James, they go on social media, they always say this, hey, I want to be close to my family. Russell Westbrook, I want to be close. That means they only got 2 years left. That means they only really got 2 years left in the NBA. They ain't really trying to hope to win. So Damian Lillard, I do see from that standpoint, he ain't really trying to win. He's just trying to collect more money for his family and stay close to his family. So part of me can respect that, but I can't respect the front office of the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, this whole Bucks debacle going on. I was surprised by Dame, getting waived. I thought it was, a little crazy to happen, but looking at what they did to sign Myles Turner, it makes sense. They got to get up off their bread. But I think it's fine. Damian Lillard, him and the whole Giannis duo, it didn't work out anywhere near what people were hyping it up to be. Like, Damian Lillard has never been known for, a guy to excel in the pick and roll situation. So, and we saw multiple times, many clips of him, doing the wrong reads where he's coming off pick and roll with Giannis, where he should have dumped it down to Giannis, or he should have kicked it to the corner when it was wide open. Instead, he took a Damian Lillard-esque shot. So, I think it's fine, but the roster, it still needs work. Like, this dude's got Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent, Kyle Kuzma, and Myles Turner as his potential starters. Like, yeah, I think Myles Turner was a good addition, but he's honestly just like a younger Brook Lopez. Like, he doesn't really move he's not really fast moving. He can block shots, but he can't get boards. Like we saw in the finals, he averaged like maybe 5 boards in the finals. So he's almost 7 foot, can barely get boards. He can shoot the ball, but he wasn't even doing that well in the finals. So I don't know how much of a big addition it was, but hey, it does give you, semi younger person. He's 30. You're moving off of Brook Lopez, who was 37. But the Bucks, they did re-sign Bobby Portis as well. But yeah, the whole Giannis thing is very interesting. Like we just heard from a former Bucks player who I think is a part of their organization, John Henson. He said that apparently it was a deal to trade for Jimmy Butler on the table for the Bucks for Chris Middleton, but Giannis vetoed it and he said, "Nah, I don't want him." And it's like, brother.
Can I say one thing? Okay. I'm hearing some very, very good information from both of you two. This is why I don't want to hear about Giannis trade talks, because he is getting everything he fucking wants. Like, he's getting everything he wants. Like, you could have got Jimmy Butler. You wanted Dame. Like, you don't want Dame no more. You wanted Myles Turner. He's getting everything he wants, so don't come to me about no trade talks. That's really my thing. Work with your team to try to build up a champion. If Giannis never wins another ring anymore, I don't want to hear about it. I don't, because I'm really tired of it, bro. I'm really sick of it. Like, bro, you're getting everything you want. And then you got the media. That's why, like, I really listened to his argument, because it's making so much sense. Because it's frustrating when I see all the media talking about Giannis, you got to go. He don't want to go. He's over here making all of these judgment calls. We need to get this person. We don't need that person. So, okay, cool. Make that bed and lay in it, dog. He gotta lay in that filth that he's created. He gotta, bro. If what you're telling me is true, if these reports are true, he gotta deal with that. And if he never wins another ring, I don't want to hear anything about him getting traded to the Spurs, to the Rockets, to any of these teams. He gotta stay where his ass is at right now, because he's the one making all the decisions.
Hearing that statement is pretty wild, because I mean, Jimmy Butler, yeah, he might be declining from what we saw in like early 2020s, but it's definitely way better than Chris Middleton. Like, this dude, Chris Middleton, literally had to learn how to walk again. Like, Giannis, I'm sorry, I get it. He was a part of that championship winning team, but brother, you got to let that man go. Brother, this dude had to learn how to walk again. But yeah, Jimmy Butler, I mean, you can clearly see that Jimmy Butler, even though he can still put up pretty good numbers, he doesn't mind taking that back door to somebody who's better than him. He doesn't mind being a Robin for somebody that is better than him. So I would have definitely taken that over having a Kyle Kuzma on my team. But hey, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Giannis sees something that we don't. So yeah, that, and then the whole Dame thing. I think that is kind of hilarious. But yeah, I figured that Giannis knew. I figure everything kind of goes through Giannis as far as like trade talks and all that. But I don't know. Did Giannis know that Dame was on the table for that? Maybe, maybe not. The Bucks, they're not going anywhere much further than they had been before. They ended off last season as a 5th seed. They're probably still going to end up a top 6 team just based off of, the injuries from teams in the East with the Celtics and the Pacers. So, yeah, they'll probably still end up looking like a good seeded team, even though this team isn't really much. It might not even be better than, this past season's team. And then we still know that they are being coached by Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham, so that ain't much help either. But yeah, the Bucks, I mean, they're not nowhere near touching the finals unless, all these Eastern Conference teams, they start getting hurt. But yeah, they're nowhere near touching the finals. We got the Cavs that they still got their Big four, we got the Knicks, who just got Mike Brown as their head coach, and they're starting to add bench depth, so we might see a whole new look with the Knicks, and hopefully that does work out well for them. We got the Pistons, who are coming off of, a really good bounce back season after having one of the worst records in history. And then we got the Magic. They just got Desmond Bain. They're adding to their team, as well as the Hawks, who've been making moves. So yeah, the Bucks, they're no further to a finals than they were before. But yeah, Giannis, like Bardo said, you gotta lay in the bed that you made, because clearly, even though we hear that, oh, you're thinking about your future and going somewhere else, it clearly shows that, this Bucks franchise is doing things for you, and you're shutting them down. So, I mean, what else can they do for you? Because they're throwing out ideas for you, but you're saying no to them, and it's clearly not working out for you. So, honestly, who's to blame for this? Man, I don't know. But, we have heard also there have been talks about, the Bucks reaching out to Chris Paul. Chris Paul, even though he just said that he wants to be closer to his family. So that's probably in the LA area, but we have heard talks about him. And apparently, he's still trying to be a starter. So he's almost like 40 years old. He's kind of slow, pretty much slow as dirt. But we know he will get the ball to the main person. But, Chris Paul is a starter. And, big 2025/2026 is kind of hilarious. But, hey, Giannis, if that's who you want, bro, replacing for Dame, hey, be my guest, man. You do you, buddy. You do you.